Hello everyone, Namaste. Welcome back to my channel AcademicTuber. Today we are going to discuss Unit 5 from Grade 10 Science, that is Physiological Structure and Life Process. Before that, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe the channel, and for more update hit the bell icon. If you want more videos related to this, please like and to share this video with your friends, and also don't forget to give your valuable response in comment section. Circulatory system. The blood circulatory system is one of the 9 systems in the human body. This system also connects with the other system. The chief organ of the blood circulatory system is the heart, which pumps the blood collected from various parts of the body. The group of organs which helps in transportation of nutrients and oxygen to the tissue and collects their waste products is called circulatory system. It is also called internal transportation system. The circulatory system consists of blood, heart, and blood vessels. First one is blood. The fluid connective tissue, which consists of 55% plasma and 45% blood cell, is called blood. It is 4.5 to 6 liter in volume in a healthy adult in average. Plasma. The transparent pale yellowish fluid, which consists of 90% water and 10% other solid substances like protein, fats, minerals, and carbohydrates, is called plasma. The major functions of plasma are it transports digested food to different organs and tissue of the body. It removes the major portion of carbon dioxide from the tissue, and it regulates body temperature. It contains proteins like fibrinogen and prothrombin, which helps in the clotting of blood at cuts on wounds. Composition of blood. So here is a diagram showing the composition of blood. Blood cells, blood corpuscles. So blood cells are categorized into 3 types. They are RBC, WBC, and platelets. First one is RBCs, red blood cells, or it is also known as the erythrocytes. Shape. The shape of RBC is circular, biconcave, and disc shape, and it does not have nucleus. The number of RBC ranges from 45 to 50 lakh in each cubic millimeter. They are formed in the bone marrow, and they are destroyed in the liver and spleen. Lifespan of RBC, it is about 4 months, that is 90 to 120 days. And function of RBC is to carry oxygen from lungs to the body tissue for respiration. Disorder. So if RBC are in less amount, we will suffer from deficiency disease known as the anemia. Whereas if RBC are in more count, we will suffer from the disease known as the polycythemia. So bone marrow, the semi-solid particle present inside the bone is called bone marrow, and hemoglobin, it is the iron-rich pigment that makes blood red. Next one is WBC, white blood cells or leukocytes. The shape of WBC, it is irregular, and it is colorless, and WBC, it have nucleus, and the number of WBC, it ranges from 8,000 to 11,000 in its cubic millimeter. WBC, they are formed in the bone marrow and lymph gland, and they are destroyed in spleen. Lifespan, it is about 2 weeks. And the function of WBC is to help to increase the immunity system of the body. It destroys the damaged cells. If WBC are in more amount, we will suffer from disease known as leukemia, which is also called blood cancer. And if WBC are in less amount, we will suffer from leukopenia. Types of WBC. So on the basis of presence of granules, WBC are categorized into 2 types. They are granular, containing granules, non-living particles, which is example of granular are neutrophils, basophils, and eosinophils, whereas non-granular WBC, they do not contain nucleus, and examples of non-granular WBC are lymphocytes and monocytes. Next one is plateaus, which is also known as the thrombocytes, and their shape is round or oval, and they are also colorless and they do not have nucleus. The number of plateaus ranges from 2 to 4 lakhs in each cubic millimeter, and they are formed in the red bone marrow as well as yellow bone marrow. They are destroyed in your spleen, and its lifespan is about 2 to 3 days, and they play an important role in case of bleeding and healing of wounds. If platelets are in less amount, then we will suffer from disease known as hemophilia, and if platelets are in more amount, we will suffer from thrombocytosis. Function of blood. Blood circulates in body for performing three main functions. They are: first one is transportation. Blood carries oxygen from lungs to all the tissue for respiration, and it also carries nutrients and hormones to all part of the body. It collects the waste from cell and tissue and transport to the excretory organs. Similarly, next function of blood is regulation. It regulates the body temperature, amount of water and salt inside our body. And third function is protection. It protects the body from different methods and help in clotting of blood by means of fibrinogen and prothrombin. Difference between RBC and WBC. RBC, they are small and biconcave in shape, whereas WBC, they are large and irregular in shape. In RBC, hemoglobin is present, whereas in WBC, hemoglobin is absent. RBC do not have nucleus, whereas WBC it have nucleus. And RBC, it carry oxygen from lungs to various cells, whereas WBC, they fight with diseases and germs. Difference between blood cell and plasma. Blood cell, it is a body's fluid connective tissue, whereas plasma, it is the blood's liquid component. Blood cell, it is red in color, whereas plasma, it is it has straw yellow color. Blood cell, it contains RBC, WBC and platelets, whereas plasma, it contains proteins like fibrinogen and prothrombin. So here are few reasoning questions. The people of Himalayan region has red cheeks. Why? It is because at high altitude there is less oxygen, and people of that region have adapted to carry more oxygen in their body. For it, they have more RBC, so they have red cheeks. Next one, a person suffering from anemia feels weakness even after a short walk. Why? It is because the number of RBC in the blood of such people is very few. Due to this, their blood cannot carry sufficient oxygen for the required amount of energy for the body. Next one, donated blood is treated with sodium citrate. Why? It is because in the donated blood, fibrinogen is removed to avoid blood clotting. Sodium citrate works as an anticoagulant. Color of blood in the pulmonary arteries is purple. Why? It is because the color of oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood is also known as the pure blood, blood carrying oxygen, is scarlet, and that of deoxygenated blood, which is also known as impure blood, blood carrying carbon dioxide, is purple. The pulmonary artery carrying deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs, which is purple in color. Next one is blood group. Blood group, also known as blood types, refers to the classification of blood based on the presence or absence of specific antigen on the surface of red blood cells. Understanding blood groups is crucial for blood transfusion, organ transplantation, and medical diagnosis. Here are some short notes on the blood groups. First one is ABO blood group system. The ABO blood group system is the most well-known and widely used classification. It categorizes blood into four main groups: A, B, AB, and O. These groups are determined by the presence or absence of A and B antigen on the surface of red blood cells. Individuals with type A blood have A antigen, type B blood have B antigen, type AB have both A and B antigen, and type O blood has neither A nor B antigen. Next one is RS blood group system. The RS blood group system is another critical classification, and it is based on the presence or absence of the RS factor, also known as the rhesus antigen, or on red blood cells. If the RS factor is present, the blood type is RS positive, example A positive, B positive. Whereas if the RS factor is absent, the blood type is RS negative, example A negative, B negative, etc. Blood can be categorized into eight main blood types based on the two primary blood group system, that is ABO blood group system and RS blood group system. These 8 categories encompasses the major blood types and RS factor. First one is A positive. Individual with type A blood and the presence of RS factor. Next one is A negative. Individual with type A blood but lacking the RS factor. Third one is B positive. Individual with type B blood and the presence of the RS factor. And fourth one is B negative, individual with type B blood but lacking the RS factor. Fifth one is AB positive, individual with type AB blood which contain both A and B antigen along with the RS factor. Sixth one is AB negative, individual with type AB blood containing both A and B antigen but lacking the RS factor. Seventh one is O positive, individual with type O blood which lacks A and B antigen but has the RS factor. And last one is O negative, individual with type O blood which lacks both A and B antigen and RS factor. Blood group should be tested before transfusion. Why? Blood group testing is essential before transfusion to ensure compatibility between the donor's blood and the recipient blood. Mismatched blood types can lead to shock and potentially life-threatening reaction, making pre-transfusion blood typing or critical safety measures. Okay, so here is the definition of antigen and antibody. An antigen is any substance that causes your immune system to produce antibodies against it, whereas antibodies are protein that protect you when an unwanted substance enters your body. Now we are going to discuss about heart. So here is a diagram showing the internal structure of heart. Heart, it is a hollow muscular organ which consists of cardiac muscles, and it is situated in the middle of the chest cavity just above the diaphragm and between the two lungs. It is a cone shaped and as big as the the closed fist in size. It is covered with a double layer membranous sac called pericardium, which is thin and transparent. A narrow cavity between these two layers is called pericardial cavity, and it is filled with a watery fluid called pericardial fluid. The fluid performs two major functions, that is, it allows frictionless movement of the heart and also protect the heart from mechanical injury and shocks. Function of different parts of heart. First one is function of four chamber of the heart. Right auricle. So it receives deoxygenated blood from different part of the body and pump it into the right ventricle. Similarly, right ventricle, it receives the deoxygenated blood from the right auricle and pumps it into the lungs for its purification. Left auricle receives oxygenated blood from the lungs and pumps it into the left ventricle. Whereas left ventricle, it receives the oxygenated blood from the left ventricle and pumps it into different parts of the body. Function of four blood vessels of the heart. First one is vena cava. They transport deoxygenated blood from different parts of the body into the right auricle of the heart. Whereas pulmonary artery, they carry deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the heart to the lungs for its purification. Pulmonary vein, they carry oxygenated blood from lungs to the left auricle of the heart. And aorta, which is the largest artery, it carries pure blood from left ventricle of heart to different parts of the body. So vena cava, they are the largest veins, and aorta, it is the largest artery present in our body. Functions of four valves of heart. First one is tricuspid, right auriculoventricular valve. It blocks the backflow of blood from the right ventricle to the right auricle when ventricles are contracted. And next one is bicuspid, mitral or left auriculoventricular valve. It blocks the backflow of blood from the left ventricle to the left auricle when ventricles are contracted. Third one is pulmonary or pulmonic valve. It blocks the backflow of blood from pulmonary artery to the right ventricle when the ventricles are relaxed. And aortic valve, it blocks the backflow of blood from aorta to the left ventricle when the ventricles are relaxed. Explanation of working mechanism of heart. The heart is divided into four chambers and has valves that allow the blood to flow in only one direction. The upper two chambers with relatively thin walls are called atrium, and the two lower chambers with thick muscular wall are called the ventricles. The right ventricle pumps the blood to the lungs where carbon dioxide is removed and oxygen is absorbed. The left atrium receives oxygen-rich blood as it comes back to the heart from the lungs and is pushed into the left ventricle, and the left ventricle pumps this blood to the rest of the body. So here is a flow diagram showing the circulation of blood in our body. Blood vessels. The hollow and the tubular vessels through which blood flows are called blood vessels. They circulate the blood from heart to the body tissue and from the tissue to the heart. And the blood vessels are of three types. They are arteries, veins, and capillaries. First one is arteries. The blood vessels which carry oxygenated blood away from the heart except the pulmonary artery are called arteries. Characteristics of arteries: they are thick-walled and elastic in nature. They are deeply seated in the body and have no valves. They carry pure blood except pulmonary artery. Next one is veins. The blood vessels which brings the deoxygenated blood into the heart from different parts of the body are called veins. Some of the characteristics of veins are: they are thin-walled and less elastic in nature. They are superficial in our body and have valves. They carry impure blood except pulmonary vein which carry pure blood. Difference between arteries and veins. Artery, it is involved in carrying oxygenated blood except the pulmonary artery, whereas vein, it is involved in carrying deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. Artery, they are thick-walled, whereas veins, they are thin-walled. Artery, they are more elastic, whereas veins, they are less elastic. Artery, they are deeply seated in the body and have no valves, whereas veins, they are superficial in our body and have valves. Capillaries. The thin and fine network of blood vessels formed by the branching of arterioles and venules are called capillaries. They connect artery to the vein and they provide the definite path for the flow of the blood. As we know, blood flow at high pressure in the artery. When the blood enters the capillary, the blood pressure increases in it. Because of this pressure, the wall of the capillary expands and the pore on them becomes large, through which molecules of glucose, water, oxygen, hormones, etc. are filtered out. In this way, cell and tissue get the required things from the blood. Where are bicuspid and tricuspid valve located? Bicuspid valve, it is located between the left atrium and left ventricle, whereas tricuspid valve, it is located between the right atrium and right ventricle. Where are red blood cells formed and destroyed? Red blood cells are formed in the bone marrow and they are destroyed in liver and spleen. Function of pericardium is to keep heart fixed in place within chest cavity, and if pericardial fluid decreases, it may cause shortness of breath, lightheadedness or fainting. So four valves found in human heart are tricuspid, bicuspid, pulmonary and aortic valve. And anemia, it is a condition in which you lack enough healthy red blood cells, adequate oxygen to your body tissue. It occurs when a person doesn't have the normal amount of RBC or if the person is low on hemoglobin. Rupturing of artery is more dangerous because the blood flow with a great force and pressure in artery. If artery gets injured, large amount of oxygenated blood is lost through bleeding. Next one, the wall of left ventricle is thicker than that of right ventricle. Why? It is because left ventricle has to pump the blood further around the body and against a higher pressure compared with right ventricle. Difference between pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein. The wall of pulmonary artery is thick and elastic, whereas the wall of pulmonary vein is thin. Pulmonary artery, they carry deoxygenated blood from right ventricle to the heart, right ventricle of the heart to the lungs, whereas pulmonary vein, it carry oxygenated blood from the lungs to the left auricle of the heart. Difference between auricles and ventricles. Auricles refers to the structure of the atrium of the heart resembling an earlobe, whereas ventricles, it refers to the two lower chamber of the heart. Auricles is less muscular or consists of thin wall, whereas ventricles, they are more muscular than the auricles. Auricles helps to collect blood from the body, whereas ventricles, it pumps blood to the corresponding part of the body. Difference between bicuspid and tricuspid valve. Bicuspid valve, it blocks the backflow of blood from the left ventricles to the left auricle, whereas tricuspid valve, it blocks the backflow of blood from the right ventricle to the right auricle. Bicuspid valve, it consists of two cups, whereas tricuspid valve, it consists of three cups. Blood circulation. The circulation of blood in a human takes place through two routes mainly. They are systemic and pulmonary. First one is systematic circulation, also known as systemic circulation. The circulation of blood between the heart and different parts of the body except lungs is called systemic circulation. When the ventricles contract, the oxygenated blood from the left ventricle is pumped to different parts of the body through the aorta. After providing the necessary components to the cells and tissue, the blood returns to the right auricle with the waste material through the vena cava, and the auricles are relaxed in this situation. Similarly, pulmonary circulation is the circulation of blood between the heart and the lungs. When the ventricles contract, the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle is pumped to the lungs through pulmonary artery for its purification. After the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, the blood is purified and it comes back into the left auricle to the left auricle of the heart when the auricles are relaxed. Okay, heart attack. The another term for heart attack is myocardial infarction. When the flow of blood to the heart tissue is suddenly reduced or blocked, and in this situation the heart cannot do its work properly and the person feels extreme difficulty, this condition is called heart attack. This problem may arise when the coronary artery that supplies pure blood to the heart becomes narrower due to the excess deposition of fat or cholesterol on the inner wall of the artery. The deposition of fat or cholesterol on the inner wall of artery is called plaque. Risk factor of heart attack. First one is age, above 45 years in male and above 55 years in female. Consumption of tobacco products, high blood pressure known as hypertension, high cholesterol and triglycerides. Triglycerides, it is a type of fat called lipid that circulate in our blood. Next one is diabetes, family history, lack of regular exercise and unhealthy diet, stressful life, consumption of alcohol and illegal drugs. Symptoms of heart attack: chest pain, feeling of pressure, heaviness, tightness or squeezing across the chest. Pain in other part of the body, it can feel as if the pain is spreading from your chest to your arms, jaw, neck, back and tummy. Feeling lightheaded or dizziness, cold sweat, fatigue, shortness of breath. Preventive measures of heart attack. Mainly maintain a healthy lifestyle, do not consume alcohol and give up smoking, keep a healthy body weight, Consume a healthy and balanced diet, exercise regularly, manage the stress, go for a regular health checkup. Diagnosis of heart attack and treatment. For the diagnosis of heart attack, the blood pressure, pulse, and temperature are checked. Diagnosis involves overall tests related to heart, heartbeat, etc. A heart attack is tested using various techniques, uh, including electrocardiogram, ECG, blood test, echo, angiography, CT, coronary angiogram, MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, etc. So, angiography. It is a type of fluoroscopy X-ray used to test blockage in blood vessels. In general, X-ray images of blood vessels are not viewed clearly. However, in this process, a special dye called the contrast medium is injected into the blood. This process highlights blood flow and provides a clear view of problems in blood vessels. X-ray image formed in angiography is called angiogram. Medical procedures such as coronary angioplasty and stenting, coronary artery bypass surgery, etc., are used to open blocked arteries. So here is a diagram showing the coronary angiography. Coronary angioplasty and stenting. So here is a diagram showing angioplasty. This medical procedure is used to open the clogged coronary artery of the heart, also called percutaneous coronary intervention (PCI). During angioplasty, a cardiologist puts a thin, a long, flexible tube called the catheter into a blood vessel of the hand or leg and guides it to the narrowed artery of the heart. A stent, which is a small metal mesh tube, is often placed during angioplasty. Uh, the stent helps to open narrowed or blocked blood vessels and maintain normal blood flow. The stent widens the blood vessels and prevents narrowing since it is coated with a medicine. Next one is coronary artery bypass surgery, which is also known as the open heart surgery. So here is a diagram showing the coronary artery bypass surgery. This is also called open heart surgery and is the emergency surgical procedure adopted during a heart attack. This method involves surgery by taking a healthy blood vessels from the leg area and making a new pathway to improve blood flow to the heart muscles. Then heart tissues get nutrients and oxygen rich blood through a new pathway. Differences between angiogram and open heart surgery. Angiogram is used to diagnose coronary artery disease, assess blockage, and plan for the treatment. Whereas open heart surgery used to perform coronary artery bypass graft, repair or replace heart valve, and correct uh, con, uh, congenital heart defect. Angiogram does not involve opening the chest access through blood vessel, whereas open heart surgery it requires opening the chest cavity to access the heart. Angiogram generally less costly than open heart surgery, whereas open heart surgery typically more expensive due to the complexity and longer duration of procedure. Heartbeat. The combined term of one contraction and one relaxation of heart muscles is called heartbeat. Heartbeat rate. The number of heartbeats in 1 minute is called heartbeat rate. The normal heartbeat rate in an adult is about 7 to 80 times per minute, but the rate varies according to the position of the body. Blood pressure. The pressure exerted by the flow of the blood on the walls of the artery is called blood pressure. Blood pressure is of two types, they are systolic and diastolic. Systolic blood pressure. The pressure of the blood on the artery of that condition of the heart when the ventricles are contracted is called systolic blood pressure. In a healthy person, its value ranges from 100 to 140 mm of Hg, millimeter of mercury or a hydrogen. Diastolic blood pressure, the pressure of the blood on the artery of that condition of the heart when the ventricles are relaxed is called diastolic blood pressure. In a healthy person, its value ranges from 60 to 90 millimeter of mercury. Difference between systolic and diastolic pressure. Systolic pressure represents the pressure in the arteries when the heart beats or contracts, whereas diastolic pressure it represents the pressure in the arteries when the heart is at rest between beats. Systolic pressure reflects the maximum force exerted on the arterial wall during a heartbeat, whereas diastolic pressure reflects the minimum pressure on the arterial wall when the heart is relaxed and refilling with blood. Systolic pressure ranges from 90 to 120 mm of Hg, whereas diastolic pressure ranges from 60 to 80 mm of Hg. The instrument which is used to measure the blood pressure is called sphygmomanometer, and if the normal blood pressure of a body is 120 by 80 mm of Hg, which means that systolic blood pressure is 120 and diastolic blood pressure is 80. High blood pressure, which is also known as hypertension. The blood pressure more than the normal condition is called the high blood pressure, and in this condition the lower limit of blood pressure axis 90 mm of Hg and upper limit axis 140 mm of Hg. Causes of high blood pressure. Regularly intake of oily, fatty and salty food, bad habits like smoking, drinking alcohol, etc. Health problems like kidney disorder, mental tension, etc. Lack of physical exercise, genetic heredity. Whereas symptoms of high blood pressure are nausea, sleeplessness, anxiety, headache, shortness of breath, double vision, nose bleeding, face becomes red. Preventive measures of high blood pressure: by doing regular exercise, by eating healthy food that are low in calorie, by avoiding drinks like soda, cold drinks, alcohol and smoking. Diabetes, which is also known as hyperglycemia. The disease that cause imbalance in the level of sugar in body is called diabetes. Its normal body ranges before meal 70 to 90 mg/dl milligram per deciliter pre-prandial and less than 140 mg/dl milligram per deciliter after meal. Causes of diabetes: it develops in those persons who take too much carbohydrate in their food and do not perform physical exercise. Tension, worries, and more idleness may also result in diabetes. It is also a hereditary disease and is more likely to be found in those whose parents are diabetic. Symptoms of diabetes are frequent urination, frequent thirst of water, gradual decrease in body weight, and prevention. People should have the habit of doing regular exercise, walking, jogging, etc. Unnecessary quarrels, arguments, worries, and tension should be avoided. Consumption of sweet products should be discouraged. Uric acid. The acid produced in the body as a byproduct due to the decomposition of purine is called uric acid. The normal uric acid levels are 3.5 to 7.2 mg/dl or 208 to 428 micromole per liter in male and 2.6 to 6 milligram per deciliter or 155 to 357 micromole per liter in women. Purine is an important chemical substance for our body because it provides protein to the body. Uric acid protects the inner part of the blood vessels and helps to remove toxins from the body. If the body produces too uric acid and cannot be removed from the body through urine, a person suffers from uric acid, and the condition of having high level of uric acid in blood is called hyperuricemia. Causes: having a family history of gut, being overweight, having kidney problems. Symptoms are intense joint pain, redness, tenderness, and swelling of the joints. Joint pain that lasts a few days to few weeks and is spread to more joints over time. Difficulty in walking and movement. Prevention and control. Consumption of lemon juice, cherries, and dark berries helps to reduce it. Drinking plenty of water, exercise regularly, etc. Hemoglobin, it is a pigment present in blood due to which RBCs are red in color. Hemophilia, it is a genetic disease in which the blood loses its ability to clot, leading to slow and persistent bleeding. Anemia, it is a condition when a person's body has a fewer amount of red blood cells. Human immune system, it is a group of WBC and antibodies working together to resist disease. Thrombosis, it is increase in the number of platelets which causes blood to clot in the blood vessels. Thrombocytopenia, it is decrease in the number of platelets which may cause spontaneous bleeding from the injured part. Leukopenia, it is a disease due to the less number of WBC in blood than average count, whereas leukemia, it is the condition in which the WBC count in blood is more than average, also known as blood cancer. Thromboplastin, it is the chemical which is released by the thrombocytes in presence of atmospheric oxygen and initiates the process of clotting of blood. Pulse, the rate of heartbeat which can be felt at different parts of an artery is called pulse. Bone marrow, it is a viscous fluid found inside the bone that produces blood. Albumin, it is the most abundant protein in plasma which maintains normal viscosity, pressure and volume of blood. Globulin, it is manufactured in the lymph cell which consists antibodies and provides immunity against infection. Fibrinogen and thrombogen, they are essential for clotting of blood in wounds. Heparin, it prevents blood clotting inside blood vessels. Serum, the blood plasma which does not contain fibrinogen is called serum. Systole and diastole, the contraction of heart is called systole and its relaxation is called diastole. By this we have completed notes of this unit. I hope this video was useful to you. If you like this video, share with your friends and don't forget to subscribe. If you have any queries, drop the comment in the comment section. See you on the next video. Thank you.